John Cosplay, con attendee, and this time it's me. Hello and welcome to Foot the Bill, where today we're looking inward, auditing ourselves, questioning our buying habits. Feels like tax season all over again. But I think this is valuable to dive into. After all, plenty of content creators are going on trips, buying fancy drinks from Dunkin' Donuts, but they never tell you the real cost of such a weekend. So, if you're like me and suffering from eternal FOMO, this might be the video for you. Here's a timestamp to the full financial breakdown, but for now, let's dive into how the weekend went. Oh, but first we have to discuss the rules.
The rules are simple. All you have to do is sit here and talk to me. Listen to me.
I'll be charging for gas because we drove from Houston to Dallas and then from Dallas to Austin back to Houston. You'll see how that went. I didn't really scavenge a whole lot. I guess I scavenged food at my friend's house because we stayed with our friends. So that doesn't get charged for. Any cosplays that we put together prior to the event shouldn't really be charged for either, but any new materials and cosplays will get added to the bill. Road snacks go on the bill, anything we bought at the convention goes on the bill, and everything bought for the convention, including tickets or photo ops or signatures or what have you, will be on the bill. Okay, let's go. We left our neighborhood at a bright and early 10 a.m. knowing we were driving from Houston to Dallas that first day. We bribed our friends to carpool us. What was that bribe? 2 weekend passes to Texas Frightmare. Not a bad bribe, to be honest. So, that's a total of 4 tickets for the weekend. Carpooling felt like the best move here since one-way flights from Houston to Dallas have become way too expensive for some reason, and we don't own a car. We're saving up for one, but until then, we stow ourselves in the trunk of our nearest friend and hope they don't notice when we bail out for a doctor's appointment. The drive wasn't too bad though. The space between Texas cities is pretty enough, if a little empty, and good conversations will keep anyone sane. We stopped for gas, got some snacks, got some drinks, and finally, we arrived in Dallas with plenty of time to spare, stopping off at our friend's house who we were staying with. This was a good opportunity to stretch, eat some food, and get ready for the convention that evening. Our goals for this weekend were simple. Get a signature from Tobin Bell, aka Jigsaw, aka John Kramer! Except he was only there Saturday and Sunday, so our goal for Friday night shifted to Amanda and Adam, aka Shawnee Smith and Lee Winnell. We'd met Shawnee a few years prior at Houston Horror Film Fest, our own little local horror convention, and wanted to tell her that we started a YouTube channel in the time since. And Lee, well, Lee wrote the first 3 movies, didn't he? I mean, he's Adam. We had to get his ear on things. But before we set off, we needed to get geared up. Annalise was cosplaying as Amanda, classic, and I was going as Pigface, equally classic. We anticipated taking a few photos in costume, running into other cosplayers we know, but we also knew we'd be out late, so I was on snack duty. My stomach issues have left me with a bit of food anxiety, so I try to have snacks on hand that are easy to digest and keep the blood sugars at a good level, as well as plenty of water. I also packed these collapsible chairs because my feet get tired, and I gotta tell ya, these saved the day. I'm a skeptic by nature, but if I were an enterprising person, I'd get a booth and sell these at cons. I'm not kidding, like sticker bomb them, paint them different colors, whatever. These things are killer, people want them. And it's a good thing we had them because this con, for us, was mostly lines. We stood in a long line to get our wristbands, then stood in a longer line waiting to enter the convention. The venue was the Irving Convention Center at Las Colinas, which looks big on the outside, but is comparatively small next to other places we've been. And the lineup system was, well, look, the staff did their absolute best. I never encountered any volunteer that was untoward or rude, and I always thank them when I saw them. They're out there doing this for free. But this con was way too packed for the venue size. After waiting in line for half an hour for the con to open, we were finally inside. And a lot of popular lines were already capped. Well, Tobin wasn't there Friday evening, so we decided to set off to try to get signatures from Lee and Shawnee. And girl, I'm gonna be saying this a lot, the lines. Texas Frightmare is the third largest horror convention in the country. People fly in from around the world to attend and see huge guests. And this year had some big names. Tobin Bell, Matthew Lillard, Warwick Davis, Emma Roberts, Tom Savini, David Arquette. This con was huge. Unfortunately, the hall wasn't as big as the guests, and attendance was equally massive, resulting in a bit of a mixed experience for most of the people we talked to. Apparently this con used to be held in the basement of a hotel near the Dallas airport, but in the last 3 years, it's exploded in size. And I think the convention might be struggling to keep up with their own success here. They've got the guests, for sure, but they still run the con like it's small. And homie, it ain't small anymore. This venue felt packed. The convention hall is 4 floors, I think, with the first floor being the main hall where all the guest booths line the walls, and 3 or 4 rows of merchant booths fill the center. So if you want an autograph or felt a pull to go shopping, this is where you were. On the floors above were some of the more in-demand, higher-profile guests, Warwick Davis, Emma Roberts. I never got a look at these rooms, but from what I heard, the lines were long there as well. Finally, on the 4th floor was the photo op hall and panel room. Now these were run really well. We moved through very smoothly, but the photo ops were handled by a separate company. We see them at a lot of the cons with celebrity guests that we go to, so I'm not too surprised they ran as smooth as they did. But anyway, back to our first night. Friday night for us was the most number of things we had scheduled. We arrived in time to see Lee's line be super long and had been capped for the night, but virtual tickets were being handed out in case things moved a little faster. These virtual tickets were a bit contentious with con goers, but I liked them. Essentially, they give you a ticket with a number, and if your number is in a batch of numbers called, you can go up to the line to get your autograph. Meanwhile, you can continue to explore the convention hall, shop, or get other autographs and photos done while you wait to be called. With Lee's line capped, we opted to beeline upstairs for our photo op with him instead. Lee's photo op was at 7 p.m., giving us something exciting to look forward to. I mean, this is Adam, Lee Winnell, the director of Invisible Man, writer of Saw, and genuinely one of the nicest people we've ever met. He seems like he really appreciates being able to meet fans and really takes time to talk to you and listen. He's just very available, if that makes sense. Our photo with Lee turned out great. He was super kind and chatty, very high energy. And with that photo out of the way, we headed back downstairs to wait in line for Shawnee's autograph. Shawnee's line took about an hour. Not too bad, honestly, about on par with how long we've waited at other cons, and she was super kind when we pulled up. We updated her on how life has been these last few years since we saw her. She remembered Annalise's voice, which was really sweet, and she signed our Saw poster. Speaking of, this weekend had a main mission. We wanted to get 3 signatures on our 10th anniversary Saw poster, one that Annalise got me for our anniversary a few years back. I love this poster. It's thick, it's red, it's double-sided. Did I mention it's red? It's really red. We didn't buy it with the intention of getting it signed, but we decided an opportunity like this could not be passed up. And with Shawnee, Lee, and Tobin all at the same convention, we had to try. Now that try was a journey all its own, frankly, but don't worry, we'll get there. Shawnee signed the poster, we were giddy, and we ran back upstairs to wait in line for her photo op at 9 p.m. That moved fairly quickly once again, and she loved my jigsaw robe that Annalise sewed for me. Annalise even offered to make her one, and you know what? We might be hearing back from her on that. Or we'll just make her one and give it to her at the next con that she goes to. Either way. Afterwards, we were back downstairs to see if we could try to get into Lee's line for autographs. Like I said, this weekend's a lot of lines. Unfortunately, it was still capped and we were 200 people away from getting called. So we saw the writing on the wall and frankly, the foreshadowing of days to come, and we decided to call it a night. We ended Friday with 2 photos and a signature. Not bad at all. We also slept like rocks that night. We woke up at 7 a.m. bright and early to get a jump start on our makeup and our costumes for the day ahead. We were also hell-bent on getting there earlier than before because today was the big opportunity. We had to get into Tobin's line, and we had to try to get Lee's signature, but our great adversary emerged once again. Say it with me, lines. Ugh. We arrived at the con an hour before open, which apparently was not enough. Most of the outdoor area was full of people queued up, and the line wrapped around the building to the point that we ended up back at the front door at the back of the line. Very bittersweet. Right up until one of the staff members announced that they were going to split the line in two, and everybody near the entrance where we were would be able to enter at the same time as the front of the line, which is also where we were. In hindsight, I appreciate this, but I felt like it would be unfair to people who were in the middle. And ultimately, it didn't make much of a difference. The big name limes were already capped by the time we got inside. But at least we were able to grab a virtual ticket for Tobin while we stood in Lee's line, no ticket necessary. So we stood in Lee's line for 3 hours. And that's when these seats really came in clutch. Cause honey, without those seats, oh man. Well, first of all, we made friends with a mom and her son behind us and exchanged some photo ops with each other's moments with Lee. And second of all, Lee, you remember Lee. Oh, what an emotional moment for us. I mean, without Saw, we wouldn't have a job. His movie made our careers, and we wanted to thank him personally for that. He was a bit confused at first when we told him that he gave us a job, but once we wiped our tears and clarified exactly what impact he's had on us and our lives, he smiled and understood. And then he also hugged us like 3 times. We handed him a bunch of stickers of the channel, and don't worry, you'll be able to get your hands on those soon enough. And I gave him something very peculiar. An itemized bill. Yeah, so as part of explaining what we do and what foot the bill is, I printed out the totals of all of John's spending across the entire film and game franchise and gave it to Lee and told him the name of the series, Foot the Bill. And you know what? He laughed. He laughed at our joke. And then he told us that apparently John had a very, very wealthy aunt that passed away and left him a sizable inheritance. I don't know if that's canon yet, but it did come from the mouth of Lee, so maybe? He also swore up and down that we needed to give Tobin a bill as well. And we almost did, but we're still not there yet. Lee signed our Saw poster and a personalized photo to the both of us, which every time I read it makes me tear up a little. I'm not making that up. And it was time for us to zip upstairs once again for more photo ops. We had a full group photo with Tobin, Shawnee, and Lee at 250, and I hearken to say that we were a bit nervous. I mean, we just met Lee and we already met Shawnee. They knew us, but we were going to be in close proximity to Jig the Sawman himself. We posed, we cried, everyone was kind. Lee used my Billy puppet as a pillow, Shawnee leaned into Annalise and Tobin. We all had a blast, they were so great. And then we were back in line for Tobin's solo photo op for 3:30. Yeah, in line, out of line, back in line. Oh, what a trip. We also ran into some fans while waiting in line. You know who you are, and I'm glad we got to chat. I still have that bracelet, by the way. That one stays with me. Tobin's photo op was pivotal. I had this gut feeling that just based on how packed the crowd was, we weren't going to get into his line to get an autograph, that our ticket wouldn't be called, so I really wanted to soak up the moment. He was patient, he was kind, he was comforting, very welcoming. I feel like we looked terrified to be in a photo with him, but he has this very calming energy about him. I don't know, it just makes you appreciate life. Hey, wait a minute. Well, regardless, it was life-changing. After our photo, we decided to dive immediately into waiting for the Saw panel that was set to start at 4 p.m. That was also, shall we say, phenomenal. We got some footage of it, but for the sake of respecting the privacy of panels, I'll summarize briefly. Lee and James at one point tried to get the movie backed by a Balinese prince in Australia who ran a cult in Melbourne. Lee thinks the movie only works because of the incredible cast acting out the roles. Tobin thinks the movie only works because it's true theater and it's well written. Shawnee thinks the movie represents a thread connecting millions of lives together. Dina Meyer thinks the movie was a fantastic opportunity to stretch her detective skills on screen. And when questioned about the role of Saw in the LGBTQ community, Dina and Shawnee made out. In response to that, Tobin and Lee almost made out. And yeah, that pretty much summarizes the whole Saw fandom, if I'm being honest. Hell yeah. I would have liked to ask if they think the Saw franchise can only be told through the big screen, or if they believe Jigsaw's world could be depicted on small screen via television or future video games. Annalise was gonna ask if they thought John could afford to build all of his traps, but unfortunately, we didn't get the chance to ask them at the panel. After the panel let out, we then went back downstairs to see if our ticket for Tobin's line would be called. The con was due to close at 6 p.m. Tobin might stay late to get through anyone in line, but they still hadn't called our section up to the line. Our hearts were full, but our heads hung low, and we left the con that day at closing, uncertain of our plan to get his signature. But to summarize the day, we left the con with some goodies. We got our photos with Tobin and the group, which are now family heirlooms that stay with us forever, as well as adding Lee's signature to our Saw poster. It's coming together. We decided to walk around the area while we waited to meet back up with friends, and noticed that Irving is upper class as hell. Like Vogue magazine fashionistas with high-end restaurants. It's a snazzy place, but a little outside our budget. $47 for a pizza? Yeah, I think I'll cook at home, thanks. Also, I have a fucking bone to pick with Apple, if I may rant a little bit. So we share our locations with our friends when we're traveling. It makes it easier to find each other. And it's great for tracking friends to an extent, because there are some issues with accuracy. See, I was trying to find my friend to meet back up with him so that we could all go home together, and I figured, oh, I'll just open Find My and locate him. Oh good, he's a quarter of a mile away. So we start walking in that direction. It's a 10-minute walk. By the time we get there, oh no, he's popped a quarter of a mile to the left or to the right of where I'm standing. And then I notice even Annalise is registering as 2 miles away from me when she's standing right next to me. So, I don't know, I have an iPhone 13. Is my phone old? Maybe there's just too many phones buzzing and pinging around us, but oh, that was a little frustrating. Like, you have the thing, make it work, and if it can't work, I don't know. Anyway, I think the day was just wearing on us, and there was this growing feeling in our gut that we wouldn't make it to Tobin's booth, so the little things started to add up. Because you see, parallel to our weekend, our other friends were trying to get a signature from Matthew Lillard. And in case you don't know who Matthew Lillard is, he was in Hackers, and Scooby-Doo, and SLC Punk. And he wrote some amazing D&D books. Oh, and he's William Afton in FNAF, and he's in Scream. I guess those are big too. He's kind of everywhere right now. You can even play as him in Dead by Daylight, or as I like to call it, Fortnite for horror nerds. I say that with 1,000 hours in the game, okay? I love that toxic dump of a game, promise you. Anyway, with the guest list being what it was, you wouldn't have really expected Matthew Lillard to be the most in-demand celebrity at the con, and you'd be wrong. His line got capped every day 10 minutes after opening. Every day. Virtual tickets sold out in another 10 minutes. The line to wait in line to try to get a ticket to wait in line was so long, it exited the convention hall. He was harder to get in touch with than the Pope on Halloween. And our poor friends waited in vain for 2 days in a row to not even get close. We would wave miserably across the hall to each other as our lines inched forward. It was a humbling experience. Sunday morning dawned, and we decided we'd get in line 3 hours before the con opened. And compared to previous mornings, we were deep in that line waiting. We were there so early, I didn't even have a chance to use the bathroom before we arrived. So I had to hop over to the hotel because for some reason the bathrooms at the convention center were closed to guests at that time. I don't know. But the hotel bathrooms were huge. I'm talking the stall alone was big enough to be someone's apartment. I filmed it. I was impressed. Frankly, I still am impressed. Put a bathtub in that thing. Whole kitchen. Anyway, back in line, we chatted once more about our goals. Today was Tobin's line. Nothing else. I was determined to hold our place for as long as it took. The con was set to open at 11. I was going to be in that line at 11:01 by the latest. And you know what? We made it. We were in line. No virtual tickets, no fast pass. Our flesh was in a queue. If we held out, there was a very real chance we'd make it.
It's open. I guess him and the creator like 5 hours long. He's worth it though.
Our friends were not so lucky. After waiting an hour to get a virtual ticket, they were cut off. Matthew's line was capped, and he'd be leaving early for a Scream screening on the other side of town. I vowed if the chance arose, I'd get something signed for them, and I meant it. But on that day, we had our own mission. Hold the line. Hold the spot. So I opened my collapsible seat, pulled out my bottle of water, and I sat and waited. Annalise had a side quest she wanted achieved. You see, Sunday was her Alice Madness day. Instead of cosplaying as Amanda, she made a brand new cosplay in anticipation of meeting voice actor Roger L. Jackson. Did I get it right? Roger L. Jackson? I got it right. I'm calling him Robert Earl Jackson. I'm so bad with names. Okay. That cosplay was made by hand and involved buying some materials and new makeup to really achieve the starving Victorian teenager look. That's fabric, a new petticoat, a zipper, interfacing, embroidery thread, trim, tights, a 3D print of Alice's blade, and a 3D print of her backbow skull, as well as new contour, setting powder, eyeliner, and lipstick. Oh, and we bought a travel hat box for our reverse bear trap, which worked out really good. It's hard to find a hat box big enough to fit a torture device that rips your head open, but we managed. No, right, God, I forgot. Side quest. Who is Roger L. Jackson, you ask? Oh, well, you might know him as Mojojojo.
Plan to rule the planet, not to have my plans planned to stop me, the planner of you. So stop, cease, desist. I am your creator. I am your king. I am Mojojojo. Obey me.
Or Ghostface from Scream.
I'm getting ready to watch a video.
Really? What?
Oh, just some scary movie.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
But for us, he's the voice of several characters from the games American McGee's Alice and Alice Madness Returns.
About time, too, Alice.
Blasted cat. Don't try to bully me. I'm very much on edge.
Perfect. When you're not on edge, you're taking up too much space.
While I held the spot in Tobin's line, Annalise popped over to Roger's. She got to hear some incredible voice acting, got a nice lengthy signature, and she picked up a couple of goodies because she finally had time to peruse the merch options. Now, the merchant selection at Texas Frightmare wasn't bad, but how best to word this? It felt a bit commercial. Like, some booths seemed like they were just selling the same clothes you'd find at a Spencer's or a Hot Topic or even a Spirit Halloween. I mean, we've gone to Houston Horror Film Fest 3 years in a row. There's people selling vintage VHS tapes of horror movies I've never heard of, old issues of Fangoria, or just horror-themed baked goods. One year, the hit item at Houston Horror Film Fest were these little cakes that replicated Jason's grave from Friday the 13th Part 6, and the spoon is a little shovel, and they're delicious, and you dig up Jason's body by eating the cake, and then you get to a chocolate corpse in the, oh, so good. And then they also had these red velvet cookies that, like, everywhere we went, people were like, dude, did you get the cookies? That booth has incredible cookies. And, you know, there were other booths selling furniture and art prints. The point is, after spending 3 days waiting in lines and trying to get signatures and just being in a very, very, very packed convention hall, I missed my hometown horror convention. I mean, Houston Horror Film Fest feels like a farmer's market for blood and ghosts. This was fine, but I was getting a little homesick. Now, we didn't go completely empty-handed. Obviously, Annalise got some very cute Cheshire cat earrings, as well as this gorgeous black cat necklace that we've decided to share. And she got a reprint of the Japanese movie poster for Saw, which is really unique because it's this angle of the first film that you don't actually see in the film. It's like shot from the doorway. Ah, it's so cool. And it's something that we've been meaning to get a copy of for a while, so we didn't spend a lot on merch, and I like what we got, but I feel like the options were still kind of limited. Normally, I like to buy a 20-sided die at every con I go to, and I've got a small collection of them now, because there's almost always someone selling tabletop stuff at these things. The Venn diagram of horror fans and tabletop fans is, it's quite significant, but I couldn't find any of that here. Nothing. Not a single booth with dice? I don't know, maybe I just didn't look hard enough. Maybe I was just stuck in line all weekend. I don't know. I couldn't find it. It's a bummer. Eventually, Annalise finished her shopping and joined me back in line. We ate lunch, we chatted with our line neighbors, and the line thinned as people left for photo ops or just left entirely. There was a guy next to us who had work that evening in Oklahoma, and I was like, dude, I think you might be late to work. And then we got to a point where we were 30 people away from Tobin Bell. And then they let 30 VIP members just walk up at the end of the day and cut in front of us. And then they said, sorry, the line has been capped. If you were behind this point, you got cut off. If you're in front of it, you get moved up. Awesome. And we were not in front. We were behind. Maybe if we'd arrived just a bit sooner. Maybe if we'd walked faster, or if we'd prioritized, or if that traffic light had been green, or if, but no. We were cut off, posters in hand, sorrow in our hearts. And that was a big hit. Honestly, we tried to console each other that we'd gotten so much done. There was so much to look forward to that we had done and accomplished that weekend. But, when you have a goal in mind, you have an idea of what it's going to look like and you fall short, it hurts. It might seem dumb, and it doesn't hurt now, but at the time, it really hurt. I asked one of the staff members if we could at least give him his bill and a sticker. She didn't understand at first, thinking that I wanted it signed, but no, we were like, it's just a gift. We just want to just give him something. And she looked at us with sympathy and said she'd personally hand it to him at the end of the night if she could. And we thanked her and stood by the side as the rest of the hall emptied, just to catch one last glimpse of him before we were forced to leave. Outside, thunder roared and a heavy rain began to fall. It was going to be a dreary ride home. But as we stood there, we started chatting again with some of our fellow con-goers. A guy asked us how long we'd been in line, where we'd come from. I assumed he was in the same lot as us, just a few heads too late. And then he asked, well, what'd you want to get signed? We showed him. We had our poster, and then it had its 2 signatures on it, but we also had something that hadn't been signed by anyone yet. It was blueprints to the reverse bear trap, designed and sold by the artist who made the reverse bear trap, limited to 250 copies. I had bought it for Annalise years ago, and we've never been able to put it up because we didn't have the wall space, but we decided it could be something we could try to get signed, right? The guy smiled and said we seemed like really genuine people. And then he asked if we had cash on us. My eyes narrowed. We had cash, sure. He said, my boy's in line right now. That's him with the hat. I remembered his son. We had chatted in line a bit, joked around. We looked back at his dad and asked him if he was serious. He said, yeah. He waved to his son. We met him at the line, and his son said that he'd get the posters signed. He didn't even question it. He just took the posters and smiled and said, don't worry. We walked back to the dad and talked a bit more about who he was. He and his family have been coming to this con for over a decade. They remembered when it was small, really small, in the basement at the airport. And the last few years have been rough on the con, and they're not sure if they'd come back next year. But he had to make it to this one. He was a huge Leprechaun fan, and he wanted to meet Warwick Davis. And Tobin Bell doesn't go to conventions very often, so you gotta get here. But he wanted to meet Warwick Davis so much that he designed a Leprechaun action figure and a box for it for Warwick to sign. Apparently that's his hustle. He turns action figures and dolls and 3D prints into models, paints elaborate settings and backgrounds, recolors them to make them look more authentic. I fucking dig it. His Instagram handle, by the way, is Night of the Living Geeks, and he single-handedly, well, he and his family, saved our dream of getting Tobin's signature. Please go give him a follow on Instagram if that's your thing. This dude's genuine as hell. He does commissions. I'm gonna hit him up for sure. As they ferried everyone not in line out of the con, we were kind of left in suspense. I mean, there was no guarantee that the line wouldn't get cut again. And then a thought spurred our new friend. Do you want Tobin to personalize one of the signatures to y'all? Well, that threw us for a loop. Staff had said that Tobin was no longer doing selfies or personalizations at the booth to keep things moving, but I mean, if we could get our names on those blueprints, we said yes immediately. He handed me the phone. It was Tobin's assistant. I spelled out my name and Annalise's names to her, and she spelled them out to Tobin. And then what felt like an eternity passed. And finally, from the end of the hallway, thunder roaring, he emerged. Suddenly, the weather cleared. The rain thinned. Our mission was achieved, in a sense. It was through the community that we were able to get those signatures. Through fans of horror and genuine good people like Night of the Living Geeks. Our lives have been saved. With this.
I so much. It says I love it.
He acknowledged us. And he owes big time. And in that moment, I really felt it. I felt myself carried by all of you watching this video right now, and I felt myself carrying you there with us. Too often we're told we're missing out on something, we're late to this, the end is nigh. There's a lot to be said for the panic industry, but that night, as we were in tears with joy, hugging these people who only minutes ago were strangers, I felt a real sense of community. true community. You, me, them, Tobin, we're all connected by this thing called passion, this thread of knowing and feeling. When we bring the channel to a con, we're bringing you with us. Because without you, we wouldn't be there. So this moment belonged to all of us, this big, messy digital family. Together, we're right where we needed to be. That night ended good. We caught a lift home, we played board games with our friends, we talked about growing up in high school and wanting to come back and just hang out more. We recounted the journey that evening took, laughing and feeling that moment ride through us. Oh, we slept good that night. Monday morning broke early and we had a long drive ahead of us. We had to make a pit stop in Austin before heading back to Houston, so we were looking at many, many hours on the road. We also stopped off at some sushi in Austin on the way back. It was okay. More cucumber than unagi, but it's fine. And we grabbed some gas station snacks for the road. But nothing tasted as sweet as the night before. That was something else entirely. All right, that's sweet and all, but how much did this all cost? Did Kid and Arcader go broke trying to get ciggies from the jiggy? Or did we slide into home on a perfect balance of cash in, cash out? Let's find out! In total, we spent approximately $1,917.22. Adjusting for inflation, that's the same price as it was because it just happened, assuming the dollar doesn't collapse between now and when this video goes live. We spent $68.21 on merch at the con, not terrible, but we did spend $1,089.32 on photos and autographs. Is that a lot? Yeah. Was it worth it? Well, I'm staring at that signed poster right now as I read this, and kids, yeah, it was worth it. Oh yeah. The next biggest ticket item was the cosplay at $241 even, including that hat box. That's pricey, but I've seen Annalise's work. That dress isn't a costume, it's an article of clothing. It's built to last for many, many years to come. Ask me how I know. How do I know? Because I've got a Jack Skellington suit and a Jigsaw robe that wear like an actual suit and actual robe. They breathe, they have weight, they're quality. Everybody who sees it goes, holy shit. And if the people making the movies are impressed with our costumes, $241 ain't a bad price. Just saying. Plus, a lot of those materials can be recycled. There's extra fabric in that cost, makeup that will last a year or more, interfacing that can go on to be incorporated into other cosplays. I mean, we're not new to this. We know how to stretch these dollars. Speaking of, can we afford it? Well, let's peel back the curtain a little bit and reveal. Our latest video, Can Jigsaw Afford Saw 2 Flesh and Blood, has made, as of writing this script, approximately $377, $20 of which came from directly our YouTube members. We earn, on average, $15.40 per 1,000 views when monetized. Sorry, Pirates 2. That means this video will probably make, and I'm being very generous, $150. If we break 10,000 views on it, I'll be pleased, but we don't really do vlogs all that much, so I don't know how the algorithm will receive it. However, the last 30 days has made us around $711. That's not terrible. It's a bit below average for us because we spent so long without publishing a video because it was languishing in copyright hell for 20 days and YouTube decided that we were a dead channel because we hadn't done anything in like a blink. Ugh. But because we published a video, people go back and watch our older videos. So a lot of that income comes from people revisiting older videos when we upload. Our content is decently evergreen, meaning it's viewable year-round, more or less, so any upload gives us a little boost. But where did we pull $2,000 from? Well, we've been paying for it since January. It's a lot of paying fors, picking up side jobs along the way. A lot of this weekend was handled entirely in cash. Across 5 months, $2,000 becomes $400 a month. Split between 2 people, that's $200. Across 30 days, that's roughly $6.66 per day. Satan wants you to go to a horror convention is what I'm trying to say. Now, is this for everyone? No. Will we go back to Texas Frightmare? It's a bit of a mess as far as cons go, but I'd love to see Lee and Shawnee again and maybe sit at Tobin's booth one day and ask him where the money comes from, so maybe. But honestly, running into other horror fans, running into you out there, that was worth every penny. I regret nothing if it means I get to see you. You've transformed my life, and I owe you so much for that, and I mean that. But what do you think? Do you think we spent too much? We could probably lean on our friends with 3D printers in the future for cosplay, that's for sure. It's crazy what some of these prices are. I want to thank Annalise for editing this video, as well as our friends Jeremy and Lauren for helping us film and house us, clean us, bathe us, feed us, and Will and Jonna for driving up to Dallas with us. We have good friends. We also have a great community, like these people right here. You can join for as little as $1, and you'll get early access to videos, my meandering musings, a direct line to my ear on Discord. I'm chatty. Come chat with me. Extra special shout out to members of the feet tier. No feet pics with that tier yet, but I do shout out your internet name for all to hear. Next up, it's the game. Finally! And the Saw re-audits. Oh, it's Saw summer, baby! Ha ha! Hopefully we can get them out in a reasonable time frame! Trying to save up for a car! Haven't owned a car since 2013. It's been rough. Oh, it's been rough. But I know with you by my side, I've got this. I almost forgot to mention, we have merchandise now! That's right! If you want a t-shirt that says Billet, you can add it to the cart. If you want a shirt that says John Kramer all the way across it, you've got it. You want a shirt that says Vampires? It's there, baby. I've even got a shirt that admits to using a pirated copy of Photoshop. It's all in the store! Check the link below! So thank you so much. And remember, I'm here to make stuff. You're here to watch.